Hello, everybody out there, and hello, Andrea. Nice to meet you again.
Hello, Kirsten. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you again. Yes, finally. It's always nice to see you. So, always a pleasure.
Yes, and you are still in London. I'm still in Hamburg.
Yeah.
How is it going in London?
Well, waiting for summertime still. When you live in London, you always craving for a little bit of sun, a little bit of hot weather, and it's
Wasn't
okay.
it supposed to be very hot in
Yes,
England?
but that was just 1 week.
Okay.
It's okay. I mean, this is the sun, a 1 week squeeze. I mean, I'm an Italian. I used to have a Mediterranean hot sun and weather, beautiful weather for months. So it's okay.
And you have given it all up to live in the lively, pulsing metropole of
I love
London
London, even
City.
if it's not sunny as I wish. I mean, I love it. It's a very nice city. It's a pleasure. And then, I mean, it's a city full of vibrant ideas and things to do. There is always connections, always a theater show to create, to collaborate, and then the tarot community is very strong. I love it. It's a
Yes.
very, I mean, England is a very, very magical place. I really like it.
Yeah, I think the scene, the tarot scene is excellent there. I'm really looking forward to October when the tarot conference is on again. And as I told to you before, I'm really hoping that I can travel without any problems. And then we will meet in person finally again.
Yes, finally, again, we will celebrate. And if you have time, you can come here and see my studio. That is a very artistic and crazy place. I think you will like it.
Which corner of London is it?
Northeast, nearby Alexandra Palace.
Oh, lovely.
It's a
Okay.
very nice place, very green, a lot of parks. It's quiet, and I love it. On the Piccadilly line, so I'm not in the middle of a forest. I mean,
Piccadilly
it's
line is
nice.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. I mean, from the moment I moved to London, so 5 years ago, I always live in this neighborhood. I saw a lot of places, but whenever I have to change a house, I say I would like to stay here. I like it.
It's great.
It's very nice. It's close to the center, but not too close, so it's more relaxing. And whenever you want to go to downtown, it's there. The American says it's there. If you want the quiet parks, you know that I love natures, and I love working in parks, and many times you will find me there with piece of paper, my pencil. I always have my pencil with me, and imagine that even this project that we were talking about, all the magic. I study in the parks every time, different parks. I have my bicycle. I drive in. I mean, driving all around, and I love it. I think is interesting. Is definitely more interesting to work in nature. Above all, when you talk about magic, when you talk about tarot, I, I need nature to do it.
So as you can see, people want to send you some sunshine, and I'm
Please.
sure you will bring sunshine to them because you have always such a
Yeah.
positive energy.
Look
Um,
at my color. I'm mozzarella white. It's so nice.
Look at me. That's my usual color. So, um, yes, you said, let's talk about magic. And
Yes,
I
let's
was
talk about magic.
wondering, for a starting point, what is magic for you?
Oh, I think the best definition of magic I ever heard is one coming from a professor of philosophy and religion in Boston. Uh, and he said that it's called Ioan Petru Culianu. He was a Romanian. Unfortunately, he's not alive anymore. He was killed because he was a dissident, and the Ceausescu, the dictator, sent some killers to kill him in Boston. He was shot dead there in front of the university, if I remember right. So a very sad story. But he was a genius, and he wrote lots of books, and he was an expert in Renaissance magic, and he defined magic as a science of the imagination. And
Mhm.
this is absolutely the best definition I ever had about magic. Because, I mean, there are different ways you can crack open the definition. What do you mean for imagination? What do you mean for science? I mean, how? Think about magic as a process of thinking, a way of conceiving a reality that is not still yet present, and you conjure it through your process of idea working and everything. And I like it, and he made a lot of very interesting example and everything. Then his definition is, I mean, is grounded in Giordano Bruno work, so a very deep and intense magician, philosopher magician from Italian Renaissance. So it's interesting. But think about, I think that in the world that we are living now, we are lacking of something that is incredibly important. And this something is the imagination, but imagination like fantasy. Think about uh, the Greek root of the word fantasy, from phainomai. Phainomai in Greek, ancient Greek, means to make appear, to make manifest.
Mhm.
So fantasy is the activity where all the input from our senses are reproduced in our soul. Speaking about ancient Greek philosophy, of course. So the fantasy is our ability to represent with images the world in front of us. And then, with all the elements we have, create our other realities, different reality changes. Because let's say, if you have, let's say, this is my bottle of water, it's always here. This is a strange pinky color. Once I have the image of this in my mind, I can think about it in a different shape, in a different color. I can paint on it, I can modify it. This is a process of fantasy, but this is a process of magic thinking. And then I can bring into reality, in this reality that I'm living now, my ideas and changing it and doing something. So I think that now we are lacking the ability of dreams, to believe in something that is not ordinary, to look for something that is extraordinary in the little things of everyday life. I mean, I don't think about crazy, incredible stuff that never happened. I think the ability of grasping the magic of the little moment when you go and cross the street and see something that you never noticed before, or there is a strange coincidence when maybe you are thinking about a poem about butterfly and you see a beautiful butterfly fly in front of your eyes, and maybe it's a different one you never seen before or never pay attention. I mean, this is the little bit of magic that I think we have to be able to grasp again. And so when I started this project, the Book of Shadows, an alchemist story, I wanted to grasp magic in every way possible. Because if you think about magic now, I say, if you ask a person, above all a tarot reader, what is magic? I say, oh, well, magic is a ritual. I lit some candle, I do something, a prayer, or a peculiar spread, or a meditation with tarot. But they never involve, or usually they don't involve fantasy. So the
Andrea,
process of
I'm very
imagination.
sorry. I have to interrupt for a second. My son is hyperventilating. I will be back in a second.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. No, I mean, everything is perfect. Well, if someone has questions, I will be happy to answer here. So we wait for everything will be. Is everything okay?
I'm going to throttle him at one point in my life.
Okay. Say it again. Wait. What did you what do you want to do? Sorry.
I've never said it.
Okay. No, boiling it with potatoes.
Sorry.
My mother, you know what my mother used to say when we were young, when we were kids, me and my brother, whenever we were misbehaving, because my mother was a witch, a tarot reader, and she used tarot in very different ways. I mean, even to have a little bit of fun with us, telling story with tarot, or when it was time to go to bed, she was doing a spread and say, "Oh, the tarot tell me that it's time for you to go to bed." So when we were misbehaving, she said, "The day I'm dead, I come back and I will pull your feet while you are sleeping." And it was such a terrifying images that we were always like that. And anyway, it was just a joke, and then she was laughing. I mean, taking advantage of her witchy side. So you can understand many things on me now.
Of course, I can. So, coming back to your definition of magic, which I think is a great definition, how does this relate to your process of creating a deck?
Yeah. Think, you know that I love tarot and I love reading tarot and I love using it and I use it in different way. I mean, as a tarot reader for whatever you expect, for meditating when I have a problem, I want to see the problem in a different way. I draw some cards and try to see the things. I mean, I always have ideas. Or for my creative process, I created many characters of films, animation I have to do, drawing cards and let me guide it to have new ideas, to see details in different ways. So when I wanted to recreate the feeling of magic and I wanted to create a new tarot deck that you see now, I said, I was very, very clear in my mind what I didn't want to do. If you think about a booklet that is coming with whatever deck, usually is quite, let's say, cold. It can be very well written, but it's difficult that it is in color, it's difficult that the quality of the paper is good, and it's difficult above all that the images that you see there, the graphic design of the book is something magical. You find description of the meaning of the cards like it was the list of the errands you have to do, of a kitchen recipe. Very, very, very cold. How can you use a deck if the instructions are instructions? The meanings of the cards are seen and delivered as instructions. Think about a book of magic, an ancient book of magic, or a mysterious book like the Voynich manuscript, that is a very strange book that no one is able to decipher. It is a strange collection of images that are puzzling because we don't know the meaning. You see women bathing in strange environment with strange devices. You see plants that doesn't exist in this world, and then you see strange rotula circles of images that we don't know what it is, and the writing is, let's say, a code, but we don't know what it is. So they try to decipher it from, 200 years now, and never managed to. So seriously deciphering. Is a Renaissance book. We know that, but we don't know anything about that. If you open it, you have this feeling of magic. If you open a Leonardo da Vinci Code, it's full of this magic idea. Your imagination starts to explode. So I wanted to create a booklet that is not just a booklet, but is a real book of magic. And so I use different levels. from the illustrated book to the graphic novel to a book in a book. And then with the book in a book is a manuscript I have recreated and I decipher it. And the manuscript is all about fantasy, imagination, tarot, the meaning of cards, numerology, ancient philosophy, and everything. But everything is delivered following a storytelling.
Okay,
And
perhaps it's easier if we look at some examples so people can
exactly, I was
understand this.
about to say that. Yes. And then, yep.
Before we do this, you're doing this deck by Kickstarting campaign.
Yep, the Kickstarter campaign is alive now, but it will be alive just till Monday. In Monday, all the games will be over. So it's last days.
And you already know that it worked out. It worked out very well. Anybody who wants to participate still can do this. I have put the link in the show notes. And what is the deck called, actually?
It's called The Book of Shadows, an Alchemist's Story. I never gave a name of the deck, but I think I will ask people to give the name of the deck, a nickname. It would be interesting. What is interesting, before maybe showing just a parenthesis, because you mentioned the Kickstarter campaign, is the idea that if you go on Kickstarter, you can collaborate with people backing the project. And so you can offer more things. You can personalize the offering. It's not a selling process, it's a creative process. Part of the book and part of the process was there to put people back in the project. And so I think is interesting because sometimes people think about Kickstarter like a place where I buy something. No, usually it's the most creative place because if you go and buy something, you go to a publisher and you have already packed everything there and you buy it. If you go on Kickstarter, you can dialogue with the creators. You can change their mind because there are things like the box here that this is a wooden box I created for the Kickstarter campaign. This came alive because many people inside the Kickstarter campaign asked me to create something absolutely magical and strange. And so I created a box, but then I created a storyline of the box, creating the background like this is a magic box, it's protected by a very powerful enchantment. And you see the spell here is the wicked hand protecting the card, so only the owner of this box can open it, and people love it, and I love to create it. And then we created a story, and then I share it, create a video. I think this is the part, and this is the storytelling. But you can show now the book, and then I tell you why the storytelling is so important in tarot. So the book coming with the tarot has different level. Here is let's say the most technical. You see the meaning of the cards. You have the
Andrea,
cards.
sorry, Andrea, I need to ask you one more thing. Is it a deck actually, or is it a book?
Rephrase the question. What do you mean?
The tarot, is it only a book, or are there also cards?
There
It's
are
cards
also cards.
plus
The
book.
project is a deck of cards. So this is a deck of cards or 80 cards. Usually are 78, isn't it, Tarot? Every
Yes,
time I
yes.
don't remember. Yes, every time, because I created so many decks with different numbers of tarot. Then every time I say, what is the official? Yes, okay. So there are 80 because there are 2 more cards. Then there is a book. There is 200 pages and big format. And then there is a film. And everything is connected. So it's a multimedia project.
Okay, so sorry about this. Please
No, 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 no.
continue.
It's important. No, no, don't be sorry. I mean, everything is in my head. Sometimes I forget. I have to be more. I mean, specify more things. So now we are seeing here the PDF of some of the pages of the spread, left page, right page of the book, and the book is divided in different sections connected with the narrative. This is the most technical part where you see reversal. Of course, reversal is written in reversal because it's
Yeah, I can
reversal, of
see that.
course. I like this idea of playing with words and make people think about it. And then we have the meaning of the cards. The meaning of the cards was written actually not by me,
Is
but
this
by
one,
John
or
Matthews.
still? This is the meaning of the cards here, yeah?
Yes, and it's
Okay,
written
yeah.
by John Matthews
Oh,
because I mean, I'm the author of everything, but is the author is talking about his point of view, and there is just his point of view, I think it's boring. I think it's not boring, it's not correct. It's like forcing the meaning, my meaning. I'm more interested in what other people see in my cards. So I called John and said, John, we always wanted to work together to another project. What do you think about writing the meaning of the cards? And I gave him my deck, I mean, the PDF of the deck. This is a printing test. And he said, do what you want, say what you want. And he was shocked because he said, no, you have to tell me what is your meaning and everything. And I said, no, I don't tell you a single word about what I think about my cards, because I want you to tell your part, because my meaning is all the book, it's the film. The meaning of the tarot is the full project. So when people will read it, we'll have different point of view. Then I ask Rana George and Sasha Graham to intervene with their own magic and thinking and say something about the universe I created. And they were free to say whatever they wanted. And this is important. So there are 4 writers. There is me, John, Sasha, and Rana. And it's a collective work in this way, collective work of magic.
And did they also write meaning of the cards, Rana and Sasha, or did they do
No,
something
Rana
else?
and Sasha deliver a very special test about tarot, the meaning of tarot in general, not the meaning of the cards, how they use in tarot, what is magic for them, how they use the tarot, and why is important fantasy for them in tarot reading. Fantasy, imagination, intuition.
Yeah,
There are
okay.
3, they are on the same level. I mean, fantasy, imagination, intuition are the same things, different name to grasp different aspects from the same brain activity, the human activity of imagining and perceiving things.
So this is what we see on this page. And what do we see then on the second page?
The second page is the book in the book. To create this, I mean, if you think about tarot, every time we use tarot, we read a sequence of um, cards, and we have a story. When we read a graphic novel, we do the same thing. When we see a film, we see sequence of still images, but then when we see all the sequence, we have the movement. I was fascinated by this. The storytelling part is interesting. Whenever we read tarot, we create a narrative. You have a question, I don't know, the classical question, I will meet the love of my life. And when you read tarot, you create a narrative, you create a story that answers that question. And this is interesting. So I wanted to create a magic tarot, or a tarot that were able to give a people a very deep magical experience. So I created a narrative when there is an alchemist, a fictional, that create a tarot deck, and through the fiction, I answer the questions, important questions like what is magic, why there are 4 suits, what is the meaning of the cards. So real information about tarot, historical information about tarot, and real magic are intertwined with a narrative. In this way, it's easier to understand everything. It's like, I don't know, plunging into a parallel world and live magic, living the magic there, not just reading about something magical, but perceiving it, feeling it, living it. And I think this is what I wanted to do. And the pages that you are seeing here are the books in the book. So this is the manuscript, the yellow page created by the alchemist, and below in black you have the I don't remember now. You have the note, the decoding, and in red the note of a fictional professor to translate everything. So here you have the 4 elements, the 4 suits, and everything is connected. And everything is connected to numerology because the Book of Magic is a real book of magic. I mean, you will find the explanation of the cards. The deck is a Rider-Waite deck, but you will find there the meaning of the pips. So it will be a universal book of magic to decoding the meaning of whatever deck you want. So it's quite challenging, if you want, as an idea to realize everything. And this is the reason why I wanted to create it with a different way. If you go to the other page, you see what I
It's quite
mean.
difficult to chop in a question here.
Yes, please, please, please. I'm talking too fast. I have to slow down.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay, Andrea. I'm just joking.
You're not, and I'm a
I just,
train.
I just, I just wanted to say, this reminds me a bit of Umberto Eco. Um,
Yes,
uh,
exactly that. If you think about the name of the rose, if you're thinking of, is it
yeah,
that the English
exactly.
translation? Is no, Il nome della rosa. So the name of the rose, I think, is, or the rose name. I don't know what's translated in English or in Italian. Is an
In Germany,
amazing,
it's der Name der Rose.
perfect in German. I love it even more. It's more poetical than in English. I
Of
love
course.
German. So anyway, no, for me, yes. I mean, anyway, you're not. Anyway, I love Goethe and his Faust. I read it in Italian, the two version, the Urfaust and the Faust, and I fall in love with the book. With the German translation, the German original there. I don't speak German, but I was able to read it and enjoy the sound. But anyway, uh, Umberto Eco did something similar, recreate the mind of the Middle Age with the logical process and the philosophy of the time, the quarreling between powers, the emperor, so secular power and God, the power of God, the Pope, and the Franciscan movement, and looking for other way, the mysticism. He created a narrative, he created a fictional story. But if you read it, you have real quotes from real books from the
Yeah.
time in Latin, and I loved the book. This is, by the way, he was my professor. I met him at university. He was I think you say the dean of the department. So I didn't study with him, but he was my dean. I met him several times and I love it.
Marion just said, I'm sure Kirsten will bring up Umberto Eco. I'm really annoyed because there is another book I read in the 80s. I know only the first name of the guy. He was Miroslav, and it's like a library of something. And
Oh,
this reminds
there was the Infinite Library. It's
no.
not Coelho.
It
Coelho
has a
wrote.
city's name, the
Okay,
library of whatever. I will look it up. But I find this very interesting because I was studying literature. I have my degree in literature, and um, this was was fascinated me about literature long before I started to do tarot or anything.
I'm coming
And
from philosophy, so I understand you very, very, very well. I
it's
think,
so great that this comes together now in a deck, so to speak.
but think
Um,
about tarot. If you think, whatever cards you bring, now, okay, is casual, the tower. It came the tower. Think about tarot in a different way. You can read tarot attaching to the cards the traditional meaning, but then you can open your mind and open the cards in a different way and say, okay, when I see the tower, I think about, I don't know, the Fifth Symphony by Beethoven, or I think about this book, I think about this dish of my mother was used to do, I think about a poem. Everything is connected with the meaning of tarot. If we open tarot in this way, we found so many meanings, so many depth in there. Think about, oh my God, Carl Gustav Jung. He was using tarot to study archetypes.
yeah,
This is incredibly fascinating. Think
yeah.
about how many levels there are, how many depth there is just there in one card. You can talk for hours.
Which brings us back to your third level.
Yeah, the third level is the illustrated book. When I want to create, this is my world. I love drawing. I love paintings, and so this is my all paintings here, oil paintings there. So you see the Book of Shadows, the first version with the yellowish cards, and then you see the Marseille and the Visconti Sforza. I created this narrative. The deck I created is to recreate the history of tarot, the changes in interpretation, why they are mystical, why they are magical, why they are so influential in our world. And the story I created tells everything. There is me, is one of the character of the storytelling, of the graphic novel, exploring the meaning of tarot, meeting people like John, and then I meet a crazy woman that I adore, is a fictional character of mine, is Madame Verefkin. And Madame Verefkin is a seer, is a tarot reader, and she tell me the secret story of tarot from her point of view. That is the point of view of the alchemist. She tells me the story of the alchemist as the alchemists live it, why he created tarot, why they are magical, well the magic in tarot lies wired there, I think is amazing. I mean, it's a process of fantasy, but my goal is don't see magic like the tower, three meanings of the tower. No, open your mind, explore, discover everything. And so everything in the book can be real or fiction. I don't tell you what is fiction and real because I really wanted. And John created something very, very clever because he decided that in the meaning of tarot, he wanted to give his meaning, his interpretation, but then he connected all the cards I created with real historical references because he said, I love your book, I love what you did, but I want to bring back from the fantasy world to reality to make people understand why you create something like that. And I said, John, this is fantastic. I could not ask for better things. And I love it because I created something and he found something that is real, that is connected. And sometimes it's something that I really had in mind. And sometimes I discover something that is I didn't know. So I love it. This is the process of magic. Magic is inventing your reality, is evoking your reality here.
And bringing it back into reality, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then there is the last level. And the last level of magic is the graphic novel, when every single frame has its own image, its own narrative, its own text, and it works like tarot again. The sequence of tarot, sequence of the frame of a film, the frame of a story, and you follow everything. This is the most graphic, is the most graphic in, I mean, the graphical, I mean, art style. Unfortunately, graphic in English means something completely different that graphico Italian, that is a little bit
I
dark.
think we understand graphic here in Germany.
Yes, thank you. Because sometimes when I said the first time I created a very graphic novel, they say, "Oh, it's porn." No, not in this way of graphic. No, please. So I have to find a synonym. So I'm sorry, but anyway.
78 positions.
Oh gosh, sometimes you have these problems with languages, and you say something, and you are completely misunderstood, and it's like, oh. Anyway, so I want this to be the most fantastical part, the journey into fantasy. And all these levels are interconnected because from the story you go to the meaning of the cards, from the meaning of the cards you go back to the story, then the spreads, then Rana, then John is talking, and then there is Madame Verefkin again, and I love it. I mean, it took 2 years of madness to create this project, and every time I was talking with someone explaining the project, they say, "Are you mad? It will never work." I say, "Yes, it will work, believe me."
Is this a book with an end, or is it
Say it again. Sorry, I lost you.
is it a story with an ending, or is it more
Oh yeah, yes, this is a story with
manual?
an ending. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's a
So we
real story with
we
a real
work
plot.
ourselves through a story, and in the end, we understand how to do
Yep.
to do readings with the
Yep.
cards.
Think
Okay.
about a book that, I mean, forgive me, but I really don't like it that much. But it's the book that maybe everyone read at least once or have in his mind at least for. Think about the Bible. How the Bible is working. You have a story of people, story of a tribe, you have a story of a nation, but telling the story of all these entities, you have, let's say, a religious value, you creating a religion, you create ideas, you create values. Is in the same way. I mean, I don't want to be blaspheme or blasphemy, but
You already
anyway,
were.
yes, I mean, this is the idea. I mean, we think about fantasy and storytelling like lies. No, think about myth. When you have a Greek myth or whatever myth you have in your mind, a myth is a fantasy story that conveys values that are shared in a society, taboos, is important. That is the reason why a lot of psychologists and sociologists are studying the myth of tribe and society and cultures to understand the values. Through the myth of people, we can understand them. We can understand why they're acting in a way and not in another. And this is incredibly interesting. So this is the process that I wanted to create. Is one in Italian. It's called mitopoiesi. Mitopoiesi, myth Poieo in Greek mean create. So the process of creation of a myth. And this is exactly what I wanted to do, created a myth around tarot to convey a feeling of magic, the idea of magic, and the meaning of tarot, so people can use it at the end of the story.
Okay.
It was clear?
You also mentioned a soundtrack.
Yes, because there is the film that is something like 1 hour and 30 minutes or 24, I never remember, something like that. There are different versions, I never remember which was is the longest one. But anyway, that is a mockumentary, and you have very famous people like Mary Greer that is talking about the tarot I invented. Then there are two other very famous professors at university in London. One is Gus Casley Hayford, mispronunciation of the name, is the author of Lost Kingdoms of Africa. The BBC documentary is a series of documentaries, and is an incredible man, incredible mind. And he agreed to be interviewed, and he invented a story about Timbuktu and the library of Timbuktu and my alchemist, because he said, I love this idea of talking about myth and reality through fantasy. I want to help you. And he agreed to be interviewed. The other one is oh my God, I haven't the tips on my name and the tongue, and now is it will come into my mind. He's a professor at Oxford. I think he was in Oxford. Now, unfortunately, he's deceased a couple of years ago, and he was an expert in ethics and aesthetics. And he told a very interesting part. He gave me his interpretation of Roger Scruton. This is the name, Professor Scruton. And he gave his interpretation about alchemy that is quite interesting. Very logical, very philosophical, but different from the one you can expect. But I like it.
Very good. I'm yeah, uh, I'm really curious about this now. I'm considering doing the kickstarting myself. However, I really don't like to get post from England, so
But the poster, it should be not a problem, because I will speak with expert and everything, but when I have to ship everything, because it's a graphic novel, so it's a book, I will ship it as a graphic novel and not as a book of tarot. But I will say it's a graphic novel, so it's a book coming with a deck of tarot. It's not a deck. If you say it's a deck of tarot, it will be, and then I will declare less. Of
yeah,
course, I will
okay.
don't declare the real, I mean, the price, but I will
Yeah,
know.
it's more the complications of getting it through customs and
Oh,
paying here
really?
again
Because
and
I'm
whatever.
shipping a lot of stuff all around Europe, and for
Yeah.
now I never have problem
Well, I
from
haven't
France,
done now
Italy.
for 7 months or so because I couldn't
Oh,
be
okay.
bothered anymore.
So I don't know if
But
you see here.
yeah, let's look at some cards exactly. This is the 5 of wands, I
Oh,
guess.
Marion, wait, I'm reading sometimes. When I lost the track is because I'm trying to read the comments, and
Yeah.
Marion said something that is interesting, and I would like to talk as the professor of what? What is she or he
Monika
is teaching?
Schmitz-Emmert. It's a name.
Sorry?
It's her name. She
Oh,
lives
yes,
in
yes, yes, Monica.
Bochum.
Yes, I see now. What she's teaching? I would like to know it. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah,
So this
Monika,
is the
Marion,
Five
you
of
have
Wands,
to
yes.
give Andrea the information then.
Yes, I would like to. I mean, I love to talk with people that is study at university, something that is similar to what I'm creating. And so I always, oh, no, really, I always open doors. I mean, I connected to the university world. I mean, I love studying there. So is
So this is the page
the
of
10
wands.
of Wands.
The 10 of wands, okay.
Yes, I see a little bit fuzzy, so it's a little bit difficult, but you see here, I try to take the Rider-Waite classical deck, delete all the religious information and Egyptian influence that was due to the time, and try to create something that is more universal.
That's
Oh, I will, okay, thank you for the information about the university.
it's very lovely.
So I try to, the colors are really, really important for me here, because every suit have a different nuance if you want. So, and the colors for me are very important because they have to convey the mood and
Mhm.
the feeling. And sometimes I try to be a little bit of let's say, ambiguity. Let me look for a specific card that everyone consider a bad card. And I always say there are no bad cards. There are just different cards, a different interpretation. Let me look if I see. Yes, I found it. And we are talking about the dreadful Ten of Swords. In the Ten of Swords, of course, there is the dead man there, but it can be a beautiful metaphor. You see, it is dark, placid water, can be a lake, can be a fjord, but then look at the sky.
Yeah.
Is dawn or is sunset? Is the beginning of a new day or is the ending of this day? Is an interesting little change, because if it's the beginning of a new day, you have a new positive interpretation. Like, yes, you have lost something, maybe a project is ended, and maybe it's ended in a way you didn't want it to end. But think about what we call positive or negative. When we achieve something that we want, oh, it's a positive card, it's a positive thing. When we are told something we don't like, or we receive a message we don't like, or it's a negative thing. But we never think about the consequences, about we are obtaining or not obtaining. So maybe something that we wanted is Ten of Swords, well, ended badly, but maybe this is a good thing, is a good omen, is something that is not necessarily negative. We have to see outside the possibility of what we want or not and see the big picture. Like here, everyone says that this is the Four of Cups. Everyone says, oh, the Four of Cups is a man that is stubborn, refusing to deal with reality, even if something beautiful is offered to him. And every time I see this card, I have a different, more peaceful interpretation. Like a Buddha sitting uh, with the back
Under
of a
the tree.
tree, and he does not need anything anymore because he has seen everything, achieved everything inside his soul, inside his mind. He's in peace. So you can go give him whatever golden cups you want. You cannot buy him. He doesn't need it because he knows what is precious and what not. I try to convey different meanings and interpretation in every cards I draw. So is there are
I like this a
details that
lot.
are I love this
Yeah.
celebration and everything. Unfortunately, now you don't see here, but the hair of these dames and the dress is full of motifs. Is all decorated. When you will have the cards printed in front of your face, you will see, because as usually I do, I draw big version even in mind, and they will be squeezed to a normal dimension. But then in this way, I can have a lot of details, and in the details, I can hide a lot of stuff like symbols, numbers, objects. And usually, I never say what I hiding inside the cards. And I love when someone write me a message and say, "Oh, Andrea, I think I discovered one of the hidden information you put in a card," and I love it.
Yeah, it's really lovely. I like it a lot as well. I like this one especially. Is it the 10 or the 8? It's the 8.
Is the Nine of Coins.
Ah, it's 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it's a
sweet.
little bit fuzzy, the camera. I'm sorry, but when I get close, it's not get autofocus. So if I go like that, everything is fuzzy. But if I go like that, it's a little bit more distant.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
anyway,
Well, I just posted to all the people watching the Kickstarting campaign
oh,
in
thank you,
Germany.
thank you. And
So
that,
it's
by the way, the Kickstarter campaign for me is the most magical experience I'm having, because it's not just the dialogue, but is from the questions I'm receiving. I have other ideas for other storytelling, uh, for videos, for explanation. Imagine that a very lucky person pledge to be the supervillain of the graphic novel. So I draw for all the graphic novel, there is a supervillain, there is an entity that has a meaning that is specific, and I don't want to reveal too much, having in mind a scene when this entity unmask themselves, because I don't want even, I mean, gender is not even important here. And when I was drawing it, I said, no, 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 wait a moment. I don't draw this person. I don't draw this entity. I go on Kickstarter asking if someone want to give his or her face to the supervillain and collaborate with me to create it. And I found the person, and believe me, it's fantastic because I go in on receiving emails completely. Oh, I'm so happy! I'm so happy! I'm looking forward. Well, can we do something like that? Yes, we can do something like that. And this is the part of creativity. I mean, think about Kickstarter like entering in a laboratory of alchemy and be able to play with chemicals and inventing something with the alchemist. I mean, this is the idea of Kickstarter: is sharing, is 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 the sharing of the ideas, is the sharing of the process, is for me is really really important. And you know that I published my own project for a long time. I created films, I created animations, books. Sometimes I work with other publishers, but usually I work with very few of them. And I mean, the one that I liked, or the one that give me, I don't want to say absolute freedom because it's not that the matter, but that understand the works behind the creation of a children book, of the passion. I want to work with passionate people that love what they are doing, and not someone that said, "Oh, I like your style, I can make money. This is the money. Create what you want." I do alone. It's better. I
You,
go
you,
alone.
you are a team player, definitely.
Yeah, I love it because when I was doing this job, this is how I started painting on canvas, oil on canvas. I was spending months completely secluded, and believe me, is tough. Is like a meditation, but is tough. Then I started to create other things like books and films and theater show, and I think it was better. Are you still there, Kristen? Are you still there? For a
I'm
moment, I
sorry.
lost you.
I had a problem here, a technical problem.
No, no, no. Yes, okay. For a moment, I say I was still alive, or
Uh,
everything is
Was
collapsed.
was I gone? Because
Yes, yes, but you are back.
okay, sorry. Yeah, actually, I have to go soon for real. Perhaps this was a sign. It's-
No, I really love
um,
it. If someone asks question, and if you have
yes,
question, I really enjoy. And I'm really passionate, and I can talk for hours and
Ru-
days.
I
But
know, I
is
know, I know. Ruti Verse just said that she backed the project.
oh
So
wow,
thank
thank
you,
you,
Ruti. And
thank you so much.
yeah, I think it's well worth backing this project. And when will the cards be ready for print?
Ah, this is a difficult question. The cards are already ready. Everything is ready to be printed, but the last part of the books, the one that I have to create with the backers, when I receive all the materials and everything, and I finish everything, let's say that my plan is to work day and night and to finish before August. But finger crossed, you never know what happened. So I say that as soon as I can, I will do everything for the printing process. I have to do little things more to the side, a little details, technical details with the printer. And then I don't know how longer it takes for prints. It can be in months, it can be 1 month. I have to talk with the printer. And I said that I will give everything for December, but my goal is if I can to do it in October, it would be better. If I can do it in November, okay. Let's say that December is the last time I would like to do, but not everything depends on me. As soon as I have everything, I will create a lot of stuff because I have to create a lot of boxes. I have to create the manuscript of The Alchemist. So there are lots of props there, but I like that. So as soon as I finish, I will start to deliver everything to people so no one have to wait too much, hopefully.
Yeah, so let's see how it turns out. I'm very happy that the Kickstarting campaign worked out already so well and that people get some add-ons as well. And yeah, I think people have now an impression. Next time we should talk then when the product is there. So
Absolutely. And have readings. I would like to see people have readings with my cards
yeah, let's do
because it
some
would be,
readings with it. I like the
yes,
idea.
I will challenge you with readings. Oh, get ready.
I win. No, no. Thank you very much, Andrea,
Thank
for
you to you.
explaining this to us. Anybody who wants to see Andrea in person in October, he will be in London doing a talk at the London Tarot Conference. And anybody who wants to meet me in person, I will be there as well.
And if you want to
I'm
stay
not
in touch,
talking. Sorry.
no, 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 sorry, no, I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry, go.
Exactly.
I don't-
Yeah, so perhaps it would be great if you had the decks then, of
I
course,
hope
for
so.
the
I really hope
conference.
so. And if someone want to contact me, write something, stay in contact from my website to Instagram to Facebook, TikTok. I mean, there is so many ways
It
to contact me. I mean, it's not a
I'm
problem.
sure you will find Andrea wherever in the net. He's
Yeah,
very,
I guess so.
very present. And your publishing house is called Barrett and Brimstone. We already talked about this as well.
Yeah, it's a
I
little
linked the
laboratory of alchemy, and it's our safe place for
yeah,
dreaming and realizing and playing like kids, inventing things. So yes,
really lovely. Okay, Andrea, I really have to shoot. I'm sorry.
thank you so much.
When I talk to you, time flies.
No, thank you to you. Thank for all the splendiferous people, and see you soon. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes. See you soon. Have great fun
Bye.
out there. Bye bye.